get locked into a pretty good groove here. How's everybody feeling today?
Feel fucking great, man. I've been fucking rocking and rolling since skin 30.
All right. Tight. Well, we're going to keep this party rolling. Everybody, please make some noise for two. How many people are in your band now? 6?
There's only 6 of us.
So 2/6. Primate. Make some noise for the internet. Woo! So, yeah, it's really cool to have you here finally, Sean. I just, pretty much
just
met like 2 minutes ago, but it's nice to have you here as well. But
Thanks.
Sean, you're somebody that I've known in the Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh adjacent music scene for a few years now. I've played shows that you've played in various projects. You've played some of those shows in various versions of your band.
Yes, we've had lots of different versions.
Yeah.
One of the first shows that we've done together when you were Gray Walker and we did the place that you don't like that just burned down. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Clariton,
Clarendon, what's it called?
Valley Hotel.
Valley Hotel. I really like that little venue. They had like the bar there in the back, and the stage was behind the bar. I like that place. Remember we did that jam?
Oh, I will never forget that, Sean. That was one of the wildest fucking rooms I ever played in my goddamn life.
Dude, we fucking packed that.
It was packed.
Look, they had to keep running to the fucking bank, to the different beer distributors. They're like, yo, we can't handle all this. And it was all because of you and us.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, any room with loudspeakers and good people, I'm down for. I don't give a fuck where it is.
I know you
But
are, baby.
with that being said, that was still one of the wildest fucking rooms I ever played with the fucking stage behind the bar.
I love it.
I never seen some shit like that in my life.
You sit at the bar and then the stage is like right behind you. And then, for insurance purposes, they burned that motherfucker down.
Well, hey,
I'm saying,
God bless, whatever. It's fine. So for anybody that isn't familiar with Primate, I would say that Primate is just an experimental rock / metal band in the vein of such things as I don't know, anything that Faith No More was ever responsible for.
yes,
We get that a lot.
Faith No More, Green Jello,
Mr. Bungle.
Mr. Bungle. We're sort of a eclectic metal band that sort of doesn't fit the mold. More so when we were doing stuff with Megan with the violin and stuff. And she recently left us, but we have Jeff now from God Hates Unicorns, who definitely fills the void. He does a great job. I tried getting him here tonight, but he's like, if I come here, I might fall asleep. And I was like, we can't have you falling asleep at a show.
It's all good. It's all good. So, this band, as I already mentioned prior, has gone through many versions. People come and go for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. Either, Godspeed or fuck off, whatever. I'm sure you've had both experiences. But with Primate, where it stands today, do you feel that the band is finally achieving a sound that you would hope to have in the early days? And I'm asking you this question because as somebody that has been familiar with your band for a while, I always felt like there was a sound that the band was trying to achieve and it never quite figured it out until the most recent release that you've done. I think that it's a really good accomplishment for you guys, genuinely.
Definitely a great question, Brian. Really, since we started over 20 years ago as a band, and I was with my boy Ian for 20 years, and about 3 years ago, Alex joined the band, and we released an album called Metamorphosis, which was metamorphosing us into what we were about to become. And with our most recent album that we released was called Gods of the Anthropoids. And really that album from Metamorphosis, we were metamorphosing into what we should be becoming. It was the first album that we released without Ian in the band for 20 years. And Alex kind of filled the void in that 20 years of writing. And when we wrote that album, it was sort of like changing into what we're becoming. And with our most recent album release with Gods, we were like, okay, well, you've had the transition, and here we are today being what is the bigger picture of what Primate is becoming.
Yeah, I totally get that. And it's like also really interesting now being a band where, you know, you have Alex, you mentioned you're in your early 20s, right? And you're in your 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 40s. Our guitar player, Alex, is what, 23?
24.
24. And our other guitarist is 50. So you have such a different variety of like 50 to 22. And we really try to like just fill everything in of understanding what the music industry wants. Like, we don't just try to put ourselves in this category or that category. When a lot of people try to book us, they're like, "Oh, what kind of genre are you?" And really, we don't really fit into a genre, I don't think.
Sure, I understand that.
Very experimental.
Yeah.
We call ourselves like eclectic metal. Like, it's like not just this, you know, especially when we had Megan with the violin and playing everything. Megan was in the band for 7 years, and she has moved on to other things. And we wish her the best of everything that she's doing. She's doing a couple other bands and a couple other things at this time, and we wish her the best. It was a good 7 years run with her, and now we're moving on. And Jeff definitely fills the void with the keys, and definitely doing good things to fill the void of missing Megan.
Totally. So I'm really interested now, and maybe, you know, you can shed some light on this. This is like a question for both of you. And it's like the same question, but like from two very different perspectives. And it's really all based on age at this point, right? Because
I'm an old motherfucker.
well, it's really, yes, that's one way of putting it.
I shaved the beard off just to make sure I looked a little younger.
That's one way of putting it. But
I'm sorry.
My question is, in regards to the experience and the interactions that you have with each other in the band, because, you know, playing live music is something that you've been doing for almost as long as Alex has been alive.
Right.
But, and like, you know, Alex, I don't know how long that you've been playing in bands or anything, but I know that you've been in Primate for 3 years is what Sean said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm curious, like, I'll start with you, Alex, on this question. Like, what has your experience been like being in a band with somebody that, you know, not just because they're older, but just because they've gone through so much stuff? Like, what have you been able to learn from like being in a band with people that have kind of already gone through like all of the mistakes that maybe you may have not like had the opportunity to make yet?
So being with Primate has been like a real positive thing. I wouldn't take it as a negative because I've learned so much from Sean and everybody else.
Yeah.
Like Pete, our other guitar player, I ask him questions on a daily basis of like, hey, what can we do to amp up our, let's say, our shows or something, or even our performance? And then he'll say, you know, try this, try that. It's like, okay, well, let's have some fun with it. So anything that we do is all in a positive aspect. I would never say anything negative.
Yeah, yes. I wasn't fishing for anything negative.
I figured you weren't.
No, I think that it's really cool because, you know, not only are you working together in this creative environment, but I imagine that, you know, you've become friends and you're learning from each other. And I'm sure there's a lot, Sean, that you can learn from Alex as well, because having like a younger, fresher, different perspective can really help bring some like a breath of fresh air into the band versus being in a band with, you know, other people that might be your age and maybe they don't have the same drive that you do.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Like, I definitely feel that, Brian. Alex here brings definitely a fresh breath of air to us. He's definitely very, very energetic. He brings a lot of new ideas. He writes a lot of good stuff for us. I really think that Alex has been a positive addition, especially with him and Pete. They definitely try to play off of each other and try to have a good time. You know, like it's like, sometimes when we're practicing or playing at a show and he's just like, playing off of each other and they're just like dancing and having a good time, I'm like, yes, that is it. We need to have a good time. We need to have fun. And the audience feels that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I would say that the last time that I saw you, which would have been at the release show.
By yourself?
When I played by myself.
First time?
Yeah. Well, it was the first time in a long time and the first time that those songs had been performed. So,
and it sounded great.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
We loved it.
What I'm saying, though, less about me, more about you. Y'all the guests. I felt it was like the most comfortable I had ever seen your band like playing together as a unit. Like it just seemed like everybody was having a good time. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody knew the songs, and everybody was just there to like put on a good show.
And to clarify, that was indeed our CD release, which was at Tower 29, and they took care of us as always. We really had a great time there. Great support of all the bands, literally all the bands in Pittsburgh. We've built a pretty good relationship with multiple bands in the Pittsburgh scene. Ryan from NeoStem, we've two of the songs off of our new CD. We did write with him, and it was definitely a great, fun experience, right, Alex?
I wasn't there for that.
Well, Alex did indeed leave for about, a year or 6 months or something like that?
Just to try to pursue other things, and they all failed. And then
he was like, let me see what I can do and pop my car around here. I was with Primate. No, I need to come back.
I missed it. It was more like home with them than leaving. So I was like, okay, I messed up. I actually missed playing these songs because one night I just sent him a video in my basement. I'm just playing Primate songs. I was like, yep, I miss it. I want to come back.
I think that, maybe it's something that, I definitely resonate with this as somebody in my 30s. Sean, I know you resonate with this as being in your 40s.
You're in your 30s?
Yes, I'm only in my 30s.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a little older than that.
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Oh.
I don't know why I wish I was. Why would I say that?
You and me both.
Oh, hey. Ding dong. But as somebody in, 30s, 40s, 20s, it's like, I understand the value so much of just making music and being creative with people that are actually enjoyable to be around, and it's something that, it makes total sense. It's like, even if you do go out and try to find some other people to work with, it could be really hard just to find people that you get along with. Mm-hmm. Even if you write like good music together, it's like, I'd rather write okay songs with cool people than like great songs with bad people.
Yeah. Well, you got to write like what? So they say you got to write like 20 songs before you write one good song, right?
That's about right.
I don't know if I subscribe to that.
You got to write like 20 before you get that one good one, man. We've been around for a long time.
There's some weirdo prodigy kids on YouTube that come up with good songs out of fucking nowhere. And there's ding dongs that I know that have been trying to make music for years and they ain't wrote one good song yet. They got way more than 20. But again,
ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Good is subjective though. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. One person's trash is another's treasure, exactly. As they say.
I'd be looking through trash all day, be like driving, like, oh, that's pretty good. I'll take that shit.
So, with the release of your most recent record, that's like out now that people can listen to on the internet and they could come see you play and all that stuff. What is like the main focus for the band now? Because sometimes like I've found myself in a situation where I like put out a record and it's like, okay, we play some shows and then what? Yeah. Do we just do it all album again? Or like, do I like try to find a better way to actually promote this album? Where are you guys at right now in terms of like, you're on a podcast talking about it, so that's a good step. But aside from that, like, what has like promoting this release been like for you guys?
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. We did, leading up to this album, we did a little statewide contest called The Big Break. We did a little video, and we wrote a song called Empty on the Inside. And when we did that video, we we were in a statewide contest, and in that statewide contest, we actually went back to my hometown, which is Scranton, Pennsylvania. I moved here to Pittsburgh in 1999, and when this little contest came up, really, I think that contest solidified us as a band. You know, like it gave us a project to work together as a whole. And Dave, our drummer, recently joined us within the last year, and Alex rejoined us within the last year. He left and came back, as he stated a little earlier, and that gave us a little bit of sort of like a vision to say, hey, look, this is something that we want to do. It gave us motivation. We put our hearts and souls into that. We did a contest, and our fans came out and definitely voted for us. When the contest came out statewide, we had more votes than anybody in the whole entire state. So shout out to our fans for that. That's wonderful. We appreciate you. We love you. So we had all the votes to be number one in the votes for the contest. My wife made the video. It's called Empty on the Inside. Go out and check out the video. It's on YouTube. And
it's on our new album.
It's on our new album, and that was with Razor Blade Recordings on our new album. So definitely gave us a little motivation to do something. Like when you're in a band, Brian, you're in a band. Like when you're in a band, you want things to motivate you. It's like, hey, look, what can I do? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? Can I do a show? Can I do this? There's just so many things, especially in the virtual world that we're in today. It's like, there's so many different venues, or not venues, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Platforms,
yeah. Platform's a good word. Platforms that you could put your
content.
Your
junk.
throw my junk out there.
I mean, there are a lot of platforms where you can throw your junk on there.
Oh, well. Yeah, this is only farts right here.
That was a good joke.
Yes, yeah.
I got Pete with that one for
I don't
months.
want to lose. I don't want to lose any kind of.
Well, no, I think that what you're saying at its core is a really good point, because where I think a lot of bands get lost is actually like knowing what to do. Like it's like, okay, yeah, duh, we write songs, and duh, we play shows, but that's not enough.
Yep.
You need to find other little goals and projects for you to do as a unit.
Yep.
To like keep working towards something.
Yep.
I was talking earlier with somebody else on the show, and we were just talking about.
You can mention them. Huh? You can mention somebody earlier.
It doesn't matter. Well, I was talking.
It doesn't matter.
It's irrelevant, but they're not irrelevant. But I'm just saying. We were talking about like how bands get stuck in this cycle of like doing what they're supposed to do, but there's so much more that you can do now as a result of the internet and all these new options.
Right.
I guess I understand romanticizing the blueprint of what bands did in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s to some degree before the internet really took off. But now there's so many more options. So you don't have to just follow that guide, And I think that it can be hard though, especially.
It's more confusing because there is so many.
Totally.
There's so many avenues that you could take. And it's just like this big world of, hey, do I concentrate here? Do I concentrate here? Because I can't do it all.
Well, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious.
It's just too much.
Another interesting.
That's why they pay people.
Yeah, that's why they do pay people for it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing.
Are you up for hire?
No, I'm not. I am booked, bro. If you think about it though, like if you're somebody like yourself, Sean, who has been doing, like you were doing music, in the late 90s through the early 2000s, like me as well, I'm doing music as the internet's becoming a thing.
Right.
And we try to learn it, but we're also kind of set in our ways to some degree. Whereas like, Alex, whenever you start getting into music, right? I imagine, well, the internet's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this stuff probably just comes more natural to you because like there isn't like a world that you remember engaging in prior to the internet. So that's a weird and kind of like really cool thing to have like together.
It's
I think it's a yin and yang.
It's mixed nuts.
Yin and yang, mixed nuts. Alex, do you like give too much of a shit about the internet? Do you offer any promotional sort of ideas and things like that?
No.
I asked it in the way that I did because you weren't really giving me internet vibes.
He's like, yo,
I kind of like to stay away from it.
Sure.
It's just it's not a good place if you don't make it one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautifully said.
It's a rough world out there, man. But I appreciate the opportunity to have those, ports or whatever they're called, like
platforms.
Yeah. You can correct me all day. It's like, ports, platforms, whatever. Yes. Hey. But I've had some drinks today.
That's cool.
I was trying to prepare for you.
Oh, I would have had a little more had I known.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, no, it's super. I got it in quite a bit the past couple of days. So now I'm just kind of relaxing as I drink a canned Mai Tai that's 13%. So I'm not quite relaxing.
Mine's just 5%. 0%. I'm at 5% or something.
Yeah. So I asked a question that we didn't really answer exactly. Well, I guess you kind of answered it because we were talking about the contest that you were in. But now, what is Primate doing now? The album's been released. What are you doing to get people to hear this fucking thing?
Sharing.
Yep. That's a strange question, Brian, because it's hard to know where to go, right? Like, there's so many there's so many different
platforms.
I got it first.
There's so many different platforms and different revenues and different avenues and different places that you could go. It's like, where do you go? So what we do is we do what we know, right? We continue to play shows. We continue to play venues. We got a show coming up with Green Jello.
Nice.
Green Jello.
August 7th, right?
8/7 is a Sunday out at Subalpine. So we try to just keep plugging away, man. That's all you could do,
Yeah.
Like I booked this show with Green Jello and Bill Man Speaker pre-pandemic. So one of the, with the pandemic that happened and, coronavirus and everything, we had a whole bunch of shows that were booked, and we booked Green Jello out of California, Pennsylvania. California,
Pennsylvania.
What, man? What? I had some drinks,
man.
man.
It's a real place.
Come on.
It is.
It's not California, Pennsylvania, man. But I had some drinks, and anyways, we booked with Bill, and 2 years later, we're finally making it happen out at Subalpine. So you just got to keep plugging away, man. You just keep doing what you do. Like we play shows, we have merch, we have albums. We just keep plugging away. And hopefully someday, before I'm 75, I might be able to retire.
I find that one of the unfortunate things about being an artist that does, what we might call eclectic music, because like with Normal Creatures, I've always had a really hard time knowing where to promote this music. I know that there are people out there that like this music because
I like it.
Well, thank you, Sean. I am not a unique person by any means.
Get the fuck out of here. This guy's like, I'm not a unique person. I got 12 bands. I got a podcast. I'm not unique.
No,
come on, man.
No, I mean, in terms of
come on, man. This guy's right here, man. This is Mr. Pittsburgh.
In terms of the way that I interact with music, I don't feel like I'm like special or snobby or anything. I just like what I like. So I know that there are other people out there that also just like what they like, right? So trying to find those kind of people can be really hard, because also a lot of the kind of like me and I use the internet and I socialize because I have a podcast and I play in bands. But outside of that, I am just kind of like real chill. If we're hanging out face to face, I'll talk your ear off. But other than that, like real low key. So I could be kind of introverted. And I know a lot of the people that like my kind of music are also introverted, and they don't give a lot of things chances because they just don't trust things. So how do you get people to listen to your stuff that are somewhat introverted, that like aren't always like going out and about to find things because they just don't trust all the stuff that they see, you know?
Well,
It's a weird world, man.
Brian, my favorite saying is, you don't trust, you thrust.
Okay. I'm trying. I mean, it's a good saying. But I'm trying to think about how it's applicable to what I was just talking about.
Well, hopefully you're editing this shit.
Nope.
You just gotta find the people that know, like, who want to listen to new stuff. If they want new stuff, they'll find a ways out to find it.
Yeah.
That's what I did for a while when I was a hermit. I was on Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Just go on a radio station, click play, don't even push stop. It was just finding my own way that way.
Hell yeah. I love that. Sean, how do you engage with new music?
He listens to rap, by the way. Not even a metal fan.
Well, with the new music, I sing in a metal band, and I don't like really metal. I'm more of a singer-songwriter type person. When I was growing up, I listened to more punk rock and that sort of stuff.
So how did, not to cut you off, but then like, how did your like vocal approach? I mean, I get that, like, because it's a very diverse approach. So I get that you listen to a lot of music, but
Yeah.
I find it somewhat surprising that like metal isn't maybe one of the like more upper ones.
I don't like any metal. I don't like metal at all, bro.
Okay, that's really interesting.
I'm more into like singer-songwriter stuff like Conor Oberst and Titus Andronicus and stuff like that. But
so then why like...
Well, I'm a singer.
So why interject like the harsh vocals into your music then?
It just happened, like when I started this band in 99, my guitar player, Ian, who was with me for 20 years and obviously became 50 and had like a child and things just like moved away. It was me and Ian's band, man. Like Primate was me and Ian's band. And when, I just sort of evolved into what the music was. Like if you listen to old Primate CDs, like our first two CDs are definitely more straight punk rock than what they are today.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. If you listen to like, especially like we have our first album, which isn't our first album, but we call it our first album. It is De-Evolution. So, we play on the Primate, Primate thing. So basically evolving into what we're becoming. So when we joined with Alex, we did the Metamorphosis, which was a metamorphosis into what he was doing. And what we did with the older albums, we did a De-Evolution, where we de-evolved into older stuff. And so we were definitely more punk rock back then. And then when we did our middle album, which was The Conqueror, we did that with Vinny, and Vinny died. So Vinny was Megan's ex-boyfriend. So, well, I only say ex-boyfriend because he died. He had a little, he passed away. But The Conqueror, which we did, was a Frankenstein album. So when we did our Conqueror album, it was all dedicated to Vinny. Now, if you look up the word Vinny or the name Vinny, Vincent actually means to conquer. So we named the album The Conqueror after Vinny. Vinny passed away, unfortunately, and what we did, Mikey, our bass player, we had a bunch of random recordings of Vinny. And when we recorded him, we actually Frankensteined the whole album together. So there were a few songs on that album where it was just him playing and being random, and I wouldn't say it's definitely not our best album, but it definitely means a lot to me to be able to do something with Vinny, who unfortunately passed away, and that's how we met Megan. Like Vinny and Megan were, together, and Vinny like brought Megan into the band, and that Vinny was also part of. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Buffalo?
No, I have not.
Well, they were originally here from Pittsburgh, but they were one of my favorite Pittsburgh bands, and they're now in Seattle.
Okay.
So, but Vinny was the keyboard player in that band, and the first band that he ever played guitar with was with us, and I really, really miss Vinny. I don't mean to like go off on a tantrum, but really, Vinny was something that, like I said, we released a Conqueror with him, and we could just cut that, man.
No, well, I was asking about we were talking about the punk rock origins of Primate, and I was kind of curious about, like how and when the metal thing came into the band,
It just sort of evolved, man. Like we recorded with Inner Tube Studios. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Inner Tube Studios out of what's his name? Nick Cussell. You know who Nick Cussell
I don't know
is?
Nick. No.
Yeah, Nick Cussell. We recorded with him. We did 2 albums with him, and the first 2 albums definitely was much more punk rock than what we are today. But like when you play with any kind of band after, so many years, you sort of evolve into what is expected, right? Like, it's like, I don't know if expected is the right word. It's like, that's where the music
was it more
takes you.
Sure.
Know?
Like kind of like we want to do stuff that we think is cool and different, but we also want to play shows, and maybe there's a lot of like more metal stuff going on at the time, or is it?
I don't really know if it's that.
Okay.
Brian. I think it's more like, look, that's what like my old guitar players who's like in his 50s. He was like, "Oh, you should sing more like Chris Cornell." I was like, "Fucking Chris Cornell." No, fuck, I ain't fucking doing Chris Cornell, man. But it's just like the way that any kind of music or band or anything else evolves. It's just sort of like, hey, look, this is what you're doing. This is what it sounds like. This is the wave that we're riding, right?
Sure. Yeah. I understand. It's like you were making some food, and then, you're making dinner every day, and you started putting some spicy stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then your palate got a little bit acclimated to the spicy.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, even though you're like, you know what? I might not be a huge fan of spicy food, but it's what I'm making all the time.
That's right. That's what I'm making all the time.
Alex, what's your relationship with like more extreme genres of music, heavy metal, things like that? Like, what's your background?
Metallica, Trivium.
Okay. Yeah.
Wage War, Whitechapel.
Okay.
Slaughter to Prevail. I listen to a lot of metal.
Gotcha.
And sometimes like I get into a funk where it's like, okay, I gotta stop listening to this, back out for a minute. So I'll go to like either like dubstep or rap.
Okay, cool.
Not necessarily for the lyrical content, but because of the background noise that's going on.
Sure. I mean, a lot of those genres, a lot of electronic music, which, I mean, most rap is electronic music, and then obviously dubstep. There's still like the same kind of sonic intensity and melody that you would get out of a metal song. It's just performed with electronic instrumentation.
And I definitely think that that's something that Jeff has brought to our band. Like Jeff from God Hates Unicorns, you guys, you know him, you love him, right?
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely brought like a different sound to what we've been doing. So it definitely fills the void of missing the violin. Jeff has filled in the electronic and definitely filled in other things. Alex likes bands like Motionless and White. Is that what they're called?
They're from Scranton as well.
So they're from Scranton. And we recently got reviewed from JC Rock and Metal or something like that, who actually reviewed our album and gave us an 8 out of 10, which,
Hey,
I'll take an 8
that ain't
out of
bad.
10, right? Yeah, baby. 8 out of 10. And they reviewed, we released our album on 6/10, and they released their album on the same day, right?
Same day.
And I sent a message to Alex. I'm like, yo, this dude's reviewed the same fucking band that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know Motionless White. It's not really my type of thing. And what did they get?
They got a 7, right?
A 6.
6.
A 6, baby.
A 6.
So we got an 8, man. Come on, man. Come on, what's up? That's right. Motionless White, where you at?
No, I love that, man. That's great. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. Is just like I think it's really cool that now, as a band that, even though you may not be like a fan of metal, it still makes sense that it exists within the band because there are other people in the band.
We've opened for plenty of metal bands.
Everybody's-
like Mushroom Head,
Sure.
Head PE, like new
Everybody's,
metal,
they're just,
it's like we just don't fit in one genre. That's our biggest thing is like trying to get in the spot where we fit in. It's like we're not really metal, we're not really punk, we're not really singer-songwriters, we're not.
it's just it's outcast shit,
Yeah,
We're not acapellas.
yeah.
right? just being an outcast. It's
Yeah.
like the most interesting thing, and like, as a songwriter myself, I always find that, the best thing that you can do and really all that you should ever want to do as a musician is just to contribute something unique to the world. It doesn't matter if it is air quote good or bad, if it's a 5 out of 10
But
or a 10 out of 10.
Brian, you contribute in like the metal genre. You contribute in the rap genre.
Sure.
You contribute in
I try to contribute something unique in all of those platforms.
You
and
definitely
it's not
do,
always-
man.
it's
I'm
not-
not trying to blow your horn.
Well,
I
I appreciate that, Sean. I appreciate the kindness.
It's the
But
truth.
and I do genuinely appreciate that.
Oh,
But
you,
it's,
you are good, man.
it's not always. I mean, but it doesn't always work out, And but that's okay. I'm happy just knowing that I feel confident that what I'm putting out there is unique, and whether or not other people resonate with it or
Who
not,
gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I have zero
Who fucking
control.
cares?
I have zero control over it.
I'm looking at myself right here, man. Yo, what's up, motherfuckers?
You're an angel. So, I'm gonna ask you, Sean, an old man question.
Ooh,
I
I shaved that beard off, man. I thought I escaped
you're still old, motherfucker. All right, so this is my old man question for you, and really, it's about like romanticizing the past and nostalgia. Is there anything about like the music scene from when you were starting, like in the early 2000s, that you feel no longer exists in the community, or do you feel that things are still pretty much the same?
Well, it's a hard question to answer, Brian, because when I started music here in Pittsburgh, I wasn't from the scene. I moved here.
Started as an outcast.
Yeah, I started as Outcast. So the first band that I moved here, when I first moved here in 1999, the first band that I ever saw was a band called Silver Tongue Devil. You know who that is?
Oh yeah, I know Todd and Robbie.
Yeah, baby.
Uh-huh.
Fucking Todd, man.
Uh-huh.
So when I first met Todd, I was like, yo, what's up, Todd? It was that place on fucking Carson Street, Nick's Fat City.
Yeah.
That shit was like Nick's Fat City. I was like, yo, Todd, I just met you. And so he was booked my friend actually booked him overseas in Germany for Silver Tongue Devils. His name is Mirza. He booked him a few times overseas. But when it comes down to like what was happening in the scene when I first moved here, I wasn't really part of that scene.
I understand, yeah.
So right now, honestly, I couldn't be happier with the Pittsburgh scene. We've built many relationships over the years, from, like I said, like from Todd all the way to fucking Sean Murphy, all the way to fucking Ryan. I mean, we definitely empower the Pittsburgh scene. There's nothing that you want to eliminate from the Pittsburgh scene. I know that people say like Pittsburgh isn't a music city, but I definitely don't agree with that. Pittsburgh is a music city, man. Like we have some of the best fucking artists across the fucking world, across the country, across anywhere, man. We are strong, man. We are strong.
I agree with you in terms of the talent, but I think why Pittsburgh isn't a music city is because we don't have like very strong base of venues or notable clubs that have any sort of a legendary status.
Not true. What it is, Brian, is that when people go to Pittsburgh and they say, hey, look, like Pittsburgh's a pretty big city. You know, it's like, you could go to like the South Side, you could go to fucking Lawrenceville, you could go wherever, right? And the problem with Pittsburgh is that they don't have like one particular place where they have like that built-in crowd.
Yeah,
you know, like where people just keep going. That's
literally what I was just saying, Sean.
Right. Yeah. It's just like they don't have that built-in crowd place, because you could say, hey, look, Normal Creatures is playing on the north side tonight, Primate's playing on the south side tonight, and fucking Bastard Bearded Judgment is playing on the fucking west side. It's just more like, hey, look, who do you know? This is who I'm gonna go see, as opposed to playing just like one little venue like Buzzbin or Noble Creature. Like I have a built-in crowd here. It's like Pittsburgh's a big enough city to be a city, but still small enough to be friendly. And in that curse, it's like I have to go to here, fall this one, fall that one.
Yeah. It's a really hard city to come into as an outsider and know where to go easily.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've been
here 20 years and I'm still on that outside.
Exactly. So that's what I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
But you know, with all of that nonsense being said, I'm going to divert my attention to Alex.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
This guy over here.
You know, and like, I don't mean to keep bringing this up as like an old young sort of thing, but I'm genuinely not, but it's like, it brings up interesting questions because this is a dynamic that I don't deal with a lot. In terms of like, how long have you been playing live music? Because I don't know. So like,
ever since I started with Primate was the first.
Okay.
But you've been playing since you've been like 6.
Yeah.
So, but still, it's like, well, okay. How about a better question? Regardless of playing live music, what about like the local music scene? When were you introduced to the local music scene?
Still with Primate.
Okay.
So 3 years ago.
So that's started. Yeah. I mean, that's
he was under 21 when we were playing at Howlers.
Oh God.
You know, Howlers.
Gnarly. Yeah.
We were playing at Howlers, and he's like, what were you, like 19, 20?
I was 20 years old.
He's
and
like
the owner gives me a roll of
he
quarters.
He gave him a roll of quarters. He's like, go play that fucking pinball machine.
I kept those quarters.
It wasn't the owner. It wasn't Sue, but the barkeep or whatever he was. He's like, go play those roll of quarters. And I was like, don't worry about it, Alex. He's not trying to drink anything. Because he still isn't drinking. Look at him. He's drinking a fucking AW.
Hey, I mean, there is an empty Smirnoff there. No, okay, so your experience in all of this is very new.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that like when you're in the scene and you're around some people that, have a few years or more on you. I'm sure this is maybe a conversation that has come up before about like where the scene's going, what it's been like and all that stuff. But as like somebody that's new to this, what has your experience and your overall feelings of like the scene like?
I know the old timers, I would say like 40 and plus, they think like the Pittsburgh scene is dead. And then like the kids my age who are actually like starting to branch out more, they're understanding why like the music scene's kind of dead in Pittsburgh and they try to relive it. We'll revive it, I guess.
Yeah.
Not relive it.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that like you are the problem you create. It's no different than earlier when we were talking about social media and you said something that was, I said it was beautiful, but it was about something like you're in control of your social media. I forget how you worded it, but it was really eloquent. But I think that that's the way that you are with everything. Like if you want a good music scene, you have to have a good attitude. You have to be good to people around you. And you can't be a fucking jaded, miserable fuck. Because nobody's going to want to be around you. And it's like, it's not that people don't want to come out to shows. People just don't want to come out to your shows because you're a cunt.
Right. Exactly right. I could say that about a band I was just friends with, but I'll leave their name out of it because I really hate him at the moment.
Sure.
But, he was a hermit at his show and people didn't want to go to it anymore. Every show that I play with Primate, I'm at least talking to at least 10 different people in a matter of 5 minutes.
Our shows have been definitely picking up some steam. We definitely appreciate all the fans that have been coming out. Like literally, right? Alex, like every single show we keep getting more and more traction. We keep getting more and more people, and we love our
positivity
fans.
as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's so wild, for for a scene of outcasts and dark clothing with long hair and beards and things. I know you're wearing bright clothing, but you still got the long hair and stuff.
Oh yeah,
an full of outcasts and degenerates, and probably to some degree, sure, guilty as charged. But the funny thing is that really, at the end of the day, like all we really want is that like kindness in people that are just like happy to be around each other. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that you guys are doing that is probably leading to a lot of that success is that you're providing a comfortable space for those outcasts to come out, and they know that they're going to be in a space where they don't feel out of place, where they don't feel like they need to make, pretend like there's something that they're not,
Right. If you're an outcast, come see us, man. We good.
We have fun.
We love you, man. We love those outcasts.
We have a zombie song.
Yeah.
Always have a good time.
Yeah. So, as we are, slowly inching around the final mountain here of our conversation on this metaphorical train ride, I do want to point out and ask, was it planned for you both to be wearing Star Wars t-shirts today?
No. But look, it wasn't. But look, you see this? This is Steve Pierce.
Oh.
I put it right in the Death Star, man.
Shout out to Steve.
Steve Pierce, man. You know who he is?
Were you? I know who Steve is.
Yeah. I put him on there, man. He was at our last show, and I bought this for, I think it was like $2.
Were you even aware that both of you were wearing Star Wars shirts?
I'm fucking rich. Yeah. It was great minds think alike, baby. I don't even know. What do you got?
Always be the bigger person, take the high ground.
Only one cannoli.
That shirt's fire, actually.
Box lunch.
Like mine? This is my belly.
I like your shirt too, but I'm a sucker for a good print on tie-dye. I really am.
I know you are.
I'm not a person for tie-dyes, but I saw this one kind of just sitting there, and I'm like,
it's like,
take this one.
Yeah, there's something about like a fun print on tie-dye. I don't know what it is. I have a lot of theme park tie-dye shirts. I've got a Roger Rabbit tie-dye shirt.
I have so much fucking merchandise from you, and you don't have one thing tie-dye. Where that?
Oh yeah, I haven't done any tie-dye merchandise in a long time.
It's been a long time.
I did one tie-dye shirt. It was just when I was doing solo music as Sykes, probably like 10 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
I was airbrushing at that point.
I might do some tie-dye Normal Creature shirts actually.
Well, if you do, I'll buy it.
All right. Cool. All right. I got pre-order placed, bro. So, I think that we've said enough about all of the music and all of that in the scene. Please, go check out Primate, listen to them online, check out a show. But the conversation's not done yet because woo doggy. Maybe
look at this guy right here, man.
Yeah, look at him.
Look at this guy, man, right here. Look at this guy. You're so good looking.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's very kind. So check this out. This is my last question. So you're both Star Wars fans, apparently, because you have T-shirts.
We didn't even know.
Oh, wow. This boy's real. Okay. Yep. All right. I get it. So, Sean, you grew up with Star Wars in a different way that Alex may have grown up with Star Wars.
That's right.
And I'm curious about both of yours opinions on like what Star Wars has become, over time. Because again, with you being so young, I don't even know how you would have been introduced to it, but obviously it's way different than what Sean was. And this is always an interesting conversation to have. So I'm going to start with Alex. How did you find Star Wars?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
We would go up to it'd be her parents before they passed on. We would go up there when I was a kid. I remember just going in my grandfather's room or ours and just watching Empire. Because they had that one and Return of the Jedi. I never watched A New Hope. I don't know why. And then I got older. I kind of moved away from it for a while, came back to it, started with A New Hope and kind of redid that trilogy. Then I did 1, 2, and 3, and then new. 7, 8, 9.
So that's interesting. So then maybe your interactions with Star Wars aren't so different. Unless, Sean, maybe you came in late into the game.
I am much different. 4, 5, and 6, we all know sucks, right? I mean,
wait, what?
4, 5, and 6. Well, no.
Are you thinking of 1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 4, 5, and 6 for someone in their 40s.
4,
sure.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3. A special place in my spot for Star Wars was my wife. We recently, got married and stuff. And
you and your wife got married? Well, no way.
That's what happens with the wife, right?
Wow. I'm single.
But anyways, the last three releases I've done with my wife, and she's always, went to the premieres. And we did the last 3 premieres by ourselves, and so that was very special. So, that's what I like about Star Wars.
Yeah,
something that I have with my wife is more special than most anything. More special than.
I have a lot of Star Wars shit. I do. I have the comics. I have the books.
Look at all his tattoos. All his tattoos are fucking Star Wars. Look at this guy. What's this?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren's.
Yeah.
Rey and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
So we do have a dog called Leia.
My dog's name is Ray.
His dog's name is Ray.
I had a cat named Solo. He just recently passed.
His cat's named Solo. So we cross paths.
Oh, more than once.
On the dark side.
I even have Kylo Ren's lightsaber that cost me $330.
Yes.
Before Toys R Us closed.
Nice.
Now that warranty does not exist.
That shit's closed? I don't even know, man.
Mm-hmm. One in West Mifflin, it's a UPMC now.
Oh. They take over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Those motherfuckers, man.
So I will share my Star Wars experience because it's actually different than both of yours. So I didn't grow up with. I was like a little bit too young to have grown up with the original movies.
Yeah.
And nobody in my family gave a shit, really. I mean, I'm not too young. I mean, I was born in 85, right?
1985.
So that was the time 1, 2, and 3 were about to exist. That means 4, 5, and 6 have already existed, right?
They existed, but nobody in my family, like you had your mom, nobody in my family gave a shit about it. I knew it was a thing, but it just was always ignored. And then whenever Phantom Menace came out, everybody was flipping shit. So I remember seeing the Phantom Menace and
was
being
terrible.
like, "What the fuck?"
It was terrible.
Yeah.
You're like,
And then-
what's the big deal, man? Because this shit sucks.
Well, that's one of my best friends in high school at the time. That would have been actually more middle school. Was a huge Star Wars fan, and I remember I saw Phantom Menace, and I was like, "Fucking whatever." And then we saw Attack of the Clones, and I was like, "Fucking whatever."
Whatever more.
But then I ended up finally like
fucking podcast.
that was a
pod
few
racing. You're
a
like,
few years later, right? I'm actually working at Blockbuster Video, and then
Where?
I finally at Blockbuster Video.
Wait, what?
There used to be this place.
I don't think. Wait, what is it called?
Blockbuster Video.
It's called Eat
Family
My
Video.
Ass.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, Family
Yeah.
Video was a
Yeah,
thing.
Family Video. That's funny. That's a very like South Hills joke. So were you? Where were you?
I live in Brentwood.
Fucking knew it, bro.
Where'd you
I'm
drink
not
at,
that
man?
far.
Come on, cheers.
Told you, fucking South Hills motherfucker.
I can't say much.
That's so funny. There ain't nothing wrong with it. But anyways, I remember I was like, I'm going to
South
watch
Hills.
because I'm gonna watch the original ones because I guess Revenge of the Sith was gonna come out. And I was like, well, I'm gonna see it with my friend. And then I finally watched episodes 4, 5, and 6, and I was like, oh,
This
I
is
get it
awesome.
now.
It's just good.
And then it made me so mad. It made
Yeah.
me because like I was like, I just don't get it.
You were
Yeah, the
butthurt.
prequel
Yeah.
sucked.
You're
Yeah.
like, yo, I don't get it.
Yeah, but
And then all of a
I
sudden-
totally got it after I'd finally watched them. It's funny because it was just like so much later and way after the fact, you know. But that's my experience with Star Wars.
I'm actually really happy with Disney Plus with releasing Obi-Wan Kenobi. That is
I call it only one cannoli.
like finally tying in what happens after what 3?
Yeah, I need to watch Obi-Wan. I mean, I've watched all the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett stuff, and I liked all of it.
I
Did you
watched
see
the first
Clone Wars,
season
like
of-
the
Yeah.
animated.
I remember watching like the original Clone Wars back in the day.
That was
But
a
I don't-
cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
He said back in the day, that was like 1997.
It was like 2000.
yeah, it was, yeah.
He says 1994.
I
When I
was-
said 1997, it was like 2004. I gave you more crap.
Yeah,
content
no,
what
but
it
yeah,
was.
it was right around that same time as like that was right in the period where like I had finally seen all of the episodes and Revenge of the Sith was about to come out, and that would have been was like
I-
Cartoon Network when all that stuff.
I
stuff was on.
graduated in 1995, so 1994, I wasn't watching cartoons.
I wasn't even a nutsack yet.
Yes. It's like I was just left, right, left, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, that's fun. I like Star Wars. Star Wars is cool.
Brian, fucking love you, man.
Sean,
Really,
yeah, I'm
love
glad
you,
we
baby.
finally got to do this,
Fuck,
man. I
man.
do. Alex,
How long has
Yeah.
it been, man?
This way.
let's go.
Yeah.
Here. That was much more.
It's easier.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, I mean, with all of that being said, this has definitely been a podcast.
You
Do
could,
you want to drop where people can find all of the social media stuff, Sean?
you just look up Primate Music, all one word, baby. You can find us anywhere.
And you said that your next show coming up is going to be with Green Jello at the Subalpine.
August
Sub
7th.
Alpine. Yep. We're gonna do that. We're doing Deutschtown, but it'll probably be after this podcast. But
Yeah, I'm
we
not
love
sure.
you all,
This
baby.
will probably most definitely air before August 7th, but I don't know about Deutschtown because that's in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Where are you guys playing Deutschtown?
I don't know
Vinyl?
where that is.
Vinyl, right across from the what the fuck's it called? Whatever it's called, man. The beer distributor there. What's it called?
Oh, you're playing at Government Center?
No, Vinyl.
Vinyl? That's the name of it?
It's across from Penn Brewery. It's across from Penn Brewery, Vinyl Street. I think we're outside.
Oh, Vinyl Street. I was like, what the fuck is vinyl?
I don't know, man. I just fucking vinyl.
I don't know.
Vinyl.
I never played it.
Well, it's so funny because like I know that
I'm running sound.
because there is Government Center, which is the record store that's by a beer distributor on the other side of the bridge. So that's why I was
It's
getting
our
confused.
First time I Deutschtown, 500 bands, 50 fucking stages or something. I don't fucking know, man. We'll be there, man.
Yeah,
We're with Leprosy.
good fucking luck
Yeah.
at that festival.
I'm running the fucking sound.
That sucks. It really
It
does.
does.
We're gonna cut that.
No, I'm not gonna cut that. Deutschtown Music Festival is the worst
No,
run
it's
music
better.
festival
It's
in
better.
the city of Pittsburgh.
God.
And they could do so much fucking better.
He's cutting this out.
Oh, I'm not cutting it out. I've talked so much shit on that festival.
Let's end this podcast with a big hug in front of Bugsy. Come on. Let's get a good hug in it. Come on. Come on, get up here, Alex. Come on.
Yeah.
This is how we end it, baby.
I mean, listen.
Thank you.
With Deutschtown, it is all love because I know a lot of the people that are behind the scenes on that, but they just fucking mismanage it so hard.
Come on, he's good, man. I gotta
go
pee.
It is
gotta pee.
so insanely mismanaged. And
I've never played it. So
the
I
reason
wouldn't
why
know.
it's mismanaged is because they're trying to do this whole like we need to have the most bands and the most stages, and then behind the scenes it's like half these stages don't have PAs and it's always a last minute scramble to find people to run sound. So now you got somebody like Sean fucking running sound all day for a stage because this festival can't manage it themselves.
Yep.
Nonsense.
I agree.
I appreciate.
Brian, we need some explicits. We need some explicits in here.
I'm just saying. They do better. That's all. But I hope you fucking guys have a killer show, and I hope all the bands have killer shows. And I don't want the festival to do bad. I genuinely don't.
We love it all.
It's just a fucking nightmare every year. It's a nightmare for everyone involved. It seriously is. So
I've never played it, so it'll be a first.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I don't care if you got a problem with it.
So be it.
412-680-2037. Call me, baby.
Fuck off.
And that's it. That's been a podcast. Peace the fuck out.